Hopes were high for Lewis Hamilton's debut with Ferrari at the 2025 Australian Grand Prix, with many expecting the seven-time world champion to make a strong start. However, the reality on track was a far cry from expectations. In a challenging race, Hamilton could only manage 10th place, marking a difficult start to his journey with the legendary Maranello team. With this less than satisfactory result, is this just a first obstacle or a sign of greater challenges to come this season? Let's discuss. After the race, Lewis Hamilton did not hide his frustration with the performance of his SF25 car. The British driver revealed that the Ferrari he was driving was very difficult to control, especially in the constantly changing track conditions due to rain. "It was very difficult and it turned out to be much worse than I thought," said Hamilton in a post-race interview. "The car was really hard to drive today. I was grateful to be able to keep it away from the wall because throughout the race it felt like the car wanted to go there." According to Hamilton, the biggest challenge came from the car's unstable balance and steering response, which was not what he expected. He felt that each corner was a battle in itself, where he had to work harder to keep the car on the right track. In addition to the technical obstacles, Hamilton also highlighted the difference in the car's setup system compared to his time with Mercedes. He felt that the transition from one team to another was not just about adapting to a new car, but also included changes in technical philosophy and race strategy. "There is a lot to learn," said Hamilton. "I still have to get used to the new power unit, different settings, and a slightly different way of driving. It's not easy to find the right rhythm straight away, especially in race conditions like this." Ferrari's strategic decision was also reviewed after the team decided to stay on slicks for longer, even though it started to rain. That decision proved detrimental to Hamilton, who lost many positions before eventually switching to intermediates. "That decision certainly had a big impact," he continued. "We tried to stay on slicks in the hope that the track would stay dry enough, but it turned out to be the opposite. I lost a lot of time there. We need to review that decision so that we can do better in the future." Although disappointed with the result, Hamilton remains optimistic that Ferrari can improve its performance and find solutions to the obstacles it faces. He hopes the team can work harder to understand the car's characteristics and make the necessary changes to be more competitive in the next race. Sky Sports analyst Karun Chandok believes that Ferrari made a mistake in reading the weather conditions during the race. According to him, the Italian team did not anticipate the changes in the weather well, which ultimately hurt them on the track. They thought the rain would be short and they could stick to their chosen strategy, but it turned out that the conditions changed more drastically than they expected, Chandok said. Lewis Hamilton had warned the team on the radio that the track was becoming too dangerous to continue with the existing tires, but the decision to change strategy was made too late. Ferrari seemed to underestimate how much water would fall, and as a result they lost a valuable opportunity in this race. This decision not only had an impact on the race result, but could also affect the team's confidence and position in the championship. Ferrari, who should have been the main competition for Red Bull and McLaren, stumbled again due to a lack of sensitivity to the situation on the track. Chandok added that Hamilton's decision to join Ferrari was certainly not just to finish 10th and secure a point. "Lewis came to Ferrari to win, not to fight in the middle," he said. "If Ferrari wants to compete with Red Bull and McLaren, they need to find a solution immediately to improve their performance and strategy. Mistakes like this cannot happen again if they want to fight for the title." While Lewis Hamilton had a tough day on the track, McLaren's Lando Norris shone with an exceptional performance throughout the race. Norris managed to finish first after a fierce battle on the track, especially with Max Verstappen, who continued to push at the start of the race before experiencing technical problems that hampered his progress. "It was a really tough race, especially with Max behind me most of the time," said Norris after the race. "But it's been a great start to the season. Last year we faced a lot of challenges and made some strategic mistakes, but this time we've learned from those experiences and got it right." Norris' success also reflects McLaren's increasingly competitive development in the title fight this season. The Woking-based team have made significant improvements to their car, giving Norris a package strong enough to compete with the likes of Red Bull and Mercedes. Verstappen, on the other hand, seemed disappointed with his results. The reigning world champion was actually quite solid at the start of the race, but a technical problem that hit his Red Bull car on lap 35 caused him to lose engine power and relinquish the lead. He dropped back to fourth position, but managed to overtake a car in the final laps to finish third. "Today was not the best day for us. We had some technical problems that affected the performance of the car and that made the race much more difficult than it should have been," said Verstappen. We have to evaluate immediately and find a solution so that it doesn't happen again in the next race. The Australian Grand Prix, GP, was an early reminder that Ferrari has a lot of homework to do to truly compete with Red Bull's dominance and McLaren's resurgence this season. Despite coming into the race with high hopes after recruiting Lewis Hamilton to strengthen the team, Ferrari's results in Melbourne showed that there are still many aspects that need to be improved before they can consistently compete at the top of the standings. Leclerc finished sixth, indicating that Ferrari has not reached its maximum potential. Their car is less competitive than Red Bull and McLaren, especially in terms of straight-line speed and tire durability. Optimism from practice and qualifying was dashed by tire degradation and lack of speed during the race. Hamilton himself remains optimistic and promises to continue working hard with the team to improve their performance in the next series. As a driver who has won 7 world championships, he knows that every season has its own challenges, especially when you have to adapt to a new team and a new car. The challenge of adjustment is not only technical, but also in understanding the team's strategy, communication patterns with the engineers, and building chemistry with the entire Ferrari crew. We have to continue to work together as a team. This is only the beginning of the season, and there are still 23 races to go, said Hamilton, stressing that there is still plenty of time for Ferrari to make improvements. He also mentioned that one aspect that needs to be improved immediately is the communication within the team, especially in terms of pit stop strategy and tire management, in order not to lose position at crucial moments of the race. Meanwhile, Ferrari team manager Frederic Vasseur also spoke about this less than satisfactory result. He emphasized that the adjustment process is still ongoing and that his team will continue to work hard to optimize the car's performance. According to him, Ferrari is still in the process of developing the car and understanding the data obtained from each race. We know this is not the result we wanted, but this is the adaptation process. Hamilton is driving our car in full race conditions for the first time, and we will use this data to improve performance in future races, said Vasseur. He also mentioned that Ferrari is preparing several technical upgrades to improve the car's performance in the next series. Ferrari faces a big challenge in the Saudi Arabian GP after a disappointing result in Australia. The fast Jeddah circuit will test the speed and balance of their car. The team must find the right tires, aerodynamics, and car setup to be more competitive. If they fail to improve their performance on the straights, they could struggle to compete with Red Bull and McLaren. In addition to the technical aspects, Ferrari will also need to improve their race strategy coordination, including more efficient pit stop execution and more aggressive tactical decisions, if they are to match the performance of Red Bull and McLaren. Strategic mistakes in pit stop timing or defensive and offensive tactics on the track can determine the final result of the race. On the other hand, F1 fans are hoping that Hamilton will soon find his best rhythm with Ferrari. After years of dominance with Mercedes, a new challenge awaits him with the Italian team. Hamilton himself admits that it will take time to find his optimum performance, but he remains confident that Ferrari can rise if the team works hard together. Ferrari, one of the most successful teams in F1, has been without a championship title for more than a decade. Hamilton's presence is expected to bring them back to winning ways. The Saudi Grand Prix is a testing ground. Can Ferrari return to the top? Write your opinion.